Gaimin Gladiator's formula is simple. You deward mid for Quinn. You secure 4 minutes rune for Quinn. Quinn is already winning mid and doesn't need your help.
Yikes.
Doesn't matter. Nuke the enemy mid and assert dominance. You refill Quinn's bottle. You deward and ward for Quinn. Quinn is owning mid and doesn't need your help at 6 minutes. Doesn't matter. Nuke the enemy mid and destroy it.
I go out.
You give Quinn the 6 minutes rune. You bring 3 heroes mid for the 8 minutes rune. Diracho is getting destroyed? Doesn't matter. You bring 4 heroes mid. You give Quinn the 8 minutes rune. You kill 1 mid and 2 supports on the enemy team because Quinn is winning mid. You give Quinn the 10 minutes rune. The enemy calls GG because Quinn is godlike at 12 minutes. Hello fellow patients of the mental asylum that is Dota 2. Today we'll be looking at TSM vs Gaimin Gladiators in Dreamleague Season 19 Game 2, which shows what happens when Gaimin's strategy is completely unhindered and unprepared for. I know this series probably doesn't show TSM in the best light because the coach Moon Meander is standing in for Whitemon in Game 1, and in Game 2 Whitemon only just arrived to join the team, so maybe there's a bit of jet lag or some other things. But these games are still interesting because they show what happens when a pro team's strategies are left uncountered and the enemy are just left doing reactive plays. So let's start around 3 minutes and a half where everything started to go wrong for TSM. This is the timing when teams usually prepare for Tofu, who is playing Skyraf this game, to rotate mid and secure a rune for Quinn, who is playing Ember this game. TSM also knows this, and in Game 1 they did rotate both Mirana and Monkey King to secure the 6 minutes rune, and for the 4 minute rune, they mirrored the Gaimin supports when they went mid. But in Game 2 though, Whitemon just sort of lingers in the lane a few seconds too long, allowing Tofu to walk towards mid first. And just this few seconds gave Tofu the space to nuke Brawl on the sniper. And even though Whitemon denies the bottom water rune, the lane is now awful for Brawl to play because he has 0 regen against an Ember with full resources. And this means that he has to walk back to refuel his HP and then TP back mid. After the water rune skirmish, Whitemon and Tofu both walk back slowly to bottom lane, then trading each other's lives.
I gave your death some thought.
These are the whatever kind of deaths, but what happens next is huge for Gaimin. Whitemon TP's bottom and shows himself, but Ace doesn't really need help because the waves are already pushing in, and Whitemon doesn't have camps to pull because they blocked it as a response against Doom Devour. The problem is, as Tofu refuels Quinn's bottle, having the information that Undying doesn't have TP and Snapfire is already low HP gives him the play to just dive and kill Brawl, who we know also just used his TP.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
I go out.
Meanwhile, Quinn's net worth is unhindered, which brings the mid lane difference from just 400 gold and a little bit of EXP at 4 minutes and 23 seconds, which is about the time after Tofu rotated and nuked him for the 4 minute rune, to 600 gold and a quarter of a level at 5 minutes and 13 seconds after Brawl healed at the fountain, to a full 1000 and level when Brawl respawned and was forced to walk all the way back to the lane. Although just before 7 minutes the support duo from Gaimin died, it didn't really matter that much because now Tombstone is unavailable and Sniper didn't even get to level 6 from this small engagement. So at the 8 minute skirmish for the rune, Quinn is just free to dive in, knowing that there's not much the support on TSM can do.
Cheap shot.
Beings another fails to see.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So as Whitemon is respawning, it seems like he realized they really needed to change their approach to be more proactive rather than just reacting to Gaimin's play, and seems to be giving some kind of calls, but by this point it's already too late as Brawl once again dies to the tri-lane, with the respawning supports being unable to help. But there are of course 2 other lanes in this game. There's nothing much to talk about bottom lane, it's pretty much just Wraith King trading farm with Doom for 8 minutes. On the top lane though, Beastmaster is a first pick for Kasane, and Diracho did pick Lifestealer on 23 to be an independent laner against it, but the real difference maker is in delaying Solari's Enchantress. TSM decided not to block the large camp. You can see Ahri sidestepping here. Maybe because they wanted to pull it, and this worked for a while until Solari gets level 3, opening up this play to get first blood.
Tis mine.
And I think they underestimated what Eng can do. And as they try to pull around 4 minutes and 40 seconds, Ahri just gets destroyed. For comparison purposes, to shut down Solari's Enchantress, OG did a tri-lane in Game 3 of their series against Gaimin, against a similar lane of Eng Lifestealer. This prevents Solari from accessing the small camp, giving OG the large camp to pull, and also gives opportunities to punish aggressive plays.
Oh dear.
This does mean that your offlaner will have a off game, but conversely, you now have a true 1v1 mid for the first 5 minutes. And in another game, Execration picked the Mirana who basically shadowed Solari to minimize his roaming impact. And back to the TSM game. Without realizing, it's already 5 minutes, which is when the mid lane shenanigans started, so Ahri has to respond to what's happening mid, and we already covered what happens there. Gaimin now has control of the triangle, which is usually Beastmaster's way of recovery, so that's gone too, and 2 lanes completely lost. Now, Gaimin is one of the best teams in the world right now, so at 9 minutes when 2 lanes went so well, their supports have about the same net worth as 2 of the enemy calls. It's just a matter of time before they also take over the remaining area where there is a Wraith King happily farming in the game. And you could argue maybe Timado needed to be more active, but to me it seems like the draft didn't enable the support on TSM to do well. It also felt like TSM is always one step slower and playing reactively rather than proactively like the Gaimin support duo. Not being able to play proactively is the theme of the series, and if you watch Game 1, I'm sure you can spot them yourself. But let's just say that TSM weren't looking too hot that game as well. Especially their coordination was so bad that Moonmeander queues up a mechanism after DP completed Greaves at 15 minutes. And that's the analysis. Hope you have a nice 7.33.